Hello, thank you once again. In this tutorial, we are going to discuss a couple of tools that are very useful if you work in information technology. If you use Linux, for example, if you get to deal with a lot of log files, for instance, you need some tools which you can use to analyze these logs. Let's say you're working as a network analyst, or you are working as in DevOps, you are working in cybersecurity and a whole lot of other jobs where log analysis are important. There are some tools that you really should know about. So some of these tools, for example, we have one called Grep. That one we already have had a video tutorial on it, which you can find in the description of this video. Another one is AWK, which is mostly what we are going to use in this tutorial. There is another one called SED. That one also is very useful. For Grep, you use it mostly when you are searching for patterns in a log. When you are analyzing logs, you are searching for a certain pattern. In that case, Grep is your best friend. If you are trying to extract some specific information and to process some data, for example, in that case, what you should be using or what you're looking for is awk. So awk, as I said earlier, is something that we are going to see in this tutorial, some beginner level, in order to introduce you to this tool. So when you get hang of it, I believe you are going to really enjoy using it. You are going to look more into it more. So there are two files or two log files I have here, which we are going to use for this tutorial, or three of them actually. Depends on what we are the amount of time we spend here. So one of them, the first one, I'm going to show you what it contains. So I have a file somewhere, log NGINX. I have a file here called access log. So as you can see, we've got these logs here. So just imagine that you are working in the real world and you have a log file that contains probably thousands, hundreds or thousands of lines of data, for example, and you want to manipulate it in order to extract certain information from it. You are not going to be reading it from beginning to the end. Instead, you can apply these tools that we are discussing now in order to find the information that you're looking for. So the basic usage of awk is this. So let's say we wanted to print all the data that we have in our log file, for example. So the way it's used is that you have print inside of these squiggly brackets, and you mention the file that you want to print. For example, in this case, I've got my file in like I showed you earlier, I've got my file here. So once you have you write awk, then print, you see, it just prints everything that you've got in the file. However, it becomes interesting when you actually want to perform a specific kind of information, like you wanted to extract data from your huge log file. In that case, what do you do? It's very simple. So what you just need to do, this is how you print something, at least at basic level. Let's say we wanted to print the first column of our log file. So in that case, what you need to do is that the dollar sign and number one is going to give you just the first column. So let's say we wanted to print both the first and fourth columns, for example. It's also very simple. As you can imagine, what we need to change here, we just add comma. We also have our dollar sign. We are looking for the fourth column as well. That's all you do. So in this case, we are able to print our IP addresses and also print our the dates, for example. So if you wanted to print something more, for example, you can just go on and add whatever it is you wanted to print. For example, let's say let us add another one. For example, as you can see, we have also added more data to our file. So this is very easy to use, especially the easier aspects of it, for instance. So that's what it is. So now another thing you can use this to do is for string operations. So this is really very powerful. Let's say that what we just wanted to do is to print some lines of code here. For example, let's say that we wanted to print uh, let's say we wanted to print a column 4, and let's also print column 6. Let's remove some of these. If we wanted column 4 and column 6, for example, so what we want to do here is, let us just 1 second, let me so let's say to lower, we want to print a column 6 and have them printed in lowercase. We also want to print column 4, also let's say to uppercase, right? So this is all that we need to do. Let's hit enter. Okay, I got more than I wanted. Let me see where we made a mistake. So what I wanted to do, there is another file I've got here called messages. So let's say we wanted to print what is here. We wanted to print column 4 and column 6, and transform them into upper and lower cases. So let me print it, then I will show you the original contents of this file. So let's hit enter. So as you can see, the first column is in uppercase, the lower column in lowercase. The fourth column in uppercase, and the sixth column in lowercase. So if you want, I'm going to show you what this file actually contains. Let me cut log messages. So that's the original content. So as you can see, we have been able to choose this column, for example, and printed them in lowercase. We chose this column and printed in uppercase. So this is how you can use this string operations features of this very tool. Another thing you can use this tool to do, you can use it to write shell scripts, for example. Yeah. So in this case, we are going to use a very basic aspect of this tool in order to demonstrate. Let's say we wanted to print something. So let me type this, then I'm going to tell you what we're trying to achieve. So sometimes you wanted to just print. Let us print column 4. Column 4. Log messages. We are using our file messages, for example. So what we have been able to do here is that we use this column as a separator. So from column, then we printed from the rest of the file. So if you remember, let's see the content of this file. So as you can see, that's the column. So what we did here is to use this column as a separator. Then we printed from failed password for invalid user. We printed from there till the end of the line of code. So this is how you can use this. So if you want, you can use this, like I said, in order to create some shell scripts that you can use in different instances. So another thing that we are going to do is I mentioned earlier about other tools whose video you can find in the description, the one called Grep. So I'm going to show you actually the difference between the two of them. So we are going to use another file here, which we can find we can find it in let me see where I got the file. AWK. So we are going to make use of this file. Let's assume we had a very huge file. We wanted to search for a certain piece of information. So I'm going to show you the difference between Grep and AWK in this instance. So with Grep, we can just say Grep, and then let's say we are searching for the word error. Let me type it in uppercase. We are searching for the word error, for example, inside of our file. So as you can see, I explained earlier that with Grep you are searching for a pattern, but with AWK you can you can manipulate text and pick and process data. You can manipulate and process data using it. So let's say that we wanted to achieve almost the same thing using AWK. So obviously it's going to look a bit different. We are looking for error. So as always, we have our squiggly brackets. Let's print column 3, for example. Right? So as you can see the difference here, with Grep we are able to find the line where our target word is, but with AWK we are able to narrow it down and print exactly what we are looking for. So when you have a huge text and you want to just print as looking for a word, for example, warning or error, or if something happens, for example, you want to find out if a certain word exists in the log. So this is how you can easily use this to find the information you are looking for. Another thing I can point out, and this might be the last part of this part of tutorial, is that you can combine both AWK and SED, which is another tool which I mentioned in the beginning. You can combine both of them in order to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. For example, I wanted to print a certain part of my file and remove spaces out of it, right? So in that case, what we can do, we can use SED, for instance, to remove spaces. Let's say we can use this, the $, no, the $ should be that one, /d. So we can look in our file. So the file we are going to use here is also app. So we can combine this SED with our AWK tool. So what we want to do here is to print column 4, for instance, and remove the spaces in it. There should be that. So as you can see, we can use this to kind of we can use it to kind of choose what we wanted to print out and remove spaces. So removing spaces is what we use the SED to do. Then in order to print our the column that we are looking for, we used AWK to do that. So there are so many ways you can use this tool to achieve your aim. So in subsequent videos, we are going to introduce more advanced usage of these tools. And once you have the hang of it, you are going to really love it, and it will make your job very easy. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. If so, can I ask you to please subscribe to my channel, to like, and to share. Thank you.